Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to be creating a value scale. That's basically going to be a 7-box value scale. So you want to make 7 boxes that are exactly 1 inch wide. So you're going to take your ruler. The first step is to take your ruler and you're going to draw a line that's 7 inches long. So you're going to start at the 0 and draw it to your 7. You're going to do this right in your sketchbook from 0 all the way to 7. Okay, so you have a line that's 7 inches long. Okay. Step 2. At each inch mark, starting at the 0 and at 1, you're going to put a little mark. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So you have exactly 1 inch apart, 7 marks along your line. Okay, step 3. You're going to take the ruler and exactly 1 inch wide, you're going to draw a line that goes straight across, exactly 1 inch, and put a little mark at the end. And you do the same thing on the other side. Measure it across wide 1 inch, put a little line on the end. Okay? So it should look this. It should look like this. Step 3. You're going to connect it to make it look like a long rectangle. It actually kind of looks like a ruler. Almost looks like you're drawing a ruler, but not quite. Okay? 1 inch wide and 1 inch boxes. That's what these are going to be. So step 4 is to take your ruler and draw the lines across and make your boxes. So draw a line straight across, 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 draw a line straight across. So you should have 7 boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? Now, you are also going to draw another box. Very similar to this, but this one is going to be 3 inches long and 1 inch wide. So let's start right here. So I'm going to draw a line that's 3 inches long. I'm going to go across 1 inch. This one you're not going to put marks on. Okay. I'm going to come across the other way 3 inches. And finish it off. Just like this. So this is how you're going to start. Alright. So what we're trying to do is you're trying to create on this one a scale where we have the darkest box here and the lightest box here. That doesn't mean you leave this box white. That means this is as light as you can possibly shade. Okay? So I'm actually going to try to start in the middle with a medium shade. Okay? And like I told you earlier, you want to use light pressure. Don't go too fast. Slowly build up so you can stay inside your lines.
Tyler, Kim, please come to the school office. Tyler, Kim, please come to the school office.
Okay. Nice and slow. Stay inside your lines as best as you can. Okay. Then I want to slowly get darker. Get lighter this way and darker this way. This is going to be my darkest box. Okay. So on my next box down, I want to shade it, but make sure that it's lighter than this box. So really start with a lot of light pressure. Okay, making sure it's clearly lighter, but it's not as light as you can shade, but it's just clearly lighter than the one before it. And looking at that, I actually think this box is going to need to be a little bit darker. Okay, that way I can make this box a little bit darker. Alright, now this box, again, lighter than the one before it, so shade nice and light. Go slow. Clearly lighter than the one before it. And the last box, as light as you can possibly shade. It's super light, almost no pressure at all. I'm going to come back and I'm actually going to darken this one a little bit because I can't tell the difference between the lightest and the... Make sure there's a difference there. Make sure you can see a difference there. Make sure you can see a difference there. Okay? Now I'm actually going to skip off to the end here. I'm going to make this as dark as I can possibly shade. So I don't want to do my super darkest right away. I can put a little bit of pressure on it, but I still want to build up that shade, okay, until I can get it super, super dark. Okay. Go super small, super slow. And as you get going here, you can start adding more and more and more pressure, getting it darker and darker and darker, layering it and layering it and layering it, being very careful to stay inside of your lines. Get it really, really nice and dark. Like so. Then the next box after that is going to be not quite so dark. Still looks like a big contrast there, so I'm going to darken it a little bit more. This one can actually get quite a bit darker. See, I'm going too fast, that's why I'm exiting my lines there. Because I'm going too fast. If you're not staying in your lines, you need to slow down. There we go. And then a little bit darker than that one. Oh, see, I'm going too fast. I got too many gaps. Too many gaps. Let's fill all those gaps in. Nice and slow. Right up to the edge there. There we go. Very good. Okay. So this needs to be clearly darker than this square, so I'm actually going to make it a little bit darker. Okay. Do I see a clear difference between those two? If yes, then I need to look at those two. I think this one needs to be a little bit darker. And I need to watch my gaps. Even though I'm layering, I still can have gaps. Just be very careful to have as few gaps as you can. Okay? Very good. Something like that. So each square is a clear difference between one to the other. Alright. Next is this smaller box. Okay? On this smaller box, we're trying to get a, instead of having solid shades, solid value, where this is all one value, I want a transition from dark to light. So I'm actually going to start as light as I can possibly shade and slowly build it up. I'm actually going to go pretty lightly across my entire surface here. And as I start to build up shade, see this darker shade, I'm not going to take it all the way across. I'm going to try to blend it out. Really pay attention to those edges. Nice and slow. This is going to be darker. This is going to get to be pretty dark on this end. Okay. Notice I'm not scribbling this way. You can do that, but it's harder to get the change in pressure as you're going from this. If you scribble this way, this is going to be all the same pressure all the way across. But here, I can really start to lighten the pressure as I get back towards this other end. And you know what? If you make a couple mistakes going outside the edges, don't worry about it. Just clean it up with your wide eraser or whatever eraser that you have with you. Got some gaps here on the edges that I want to make sure I get filled in. This can actually be even darker over here. You're going to have to, on the really dark parts, you're going to have to really push down pretty hard. Get a nice even blend from dark to light. Alright, that's what you're going to do step by step. Do the best that you can, and whatever you don't finish in class, we're going to try to finish it at home. Alright, we'll see you all later.